Alvin! Alvin!
Okay.
Growing up, I always thought that Alvin wanted a hula hoop, and I did not know what that was. But I never heard him pronounce the P in hula hoop.
Oh. Whoops.
Which is not relevant at all for this conversation. Hello, and welcome to Cause and Effect, a homebrew Dungeons & Dragons campaign. Tonight, I will be your GM for the evening, or DM, depending on who you ask, and what game we're playing, and who you ask. My name is Crash. Tonight I'm joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Beth, Ellie, and Io. There are others who might be joining us, but possibly not, because, well, reasons. We are recording this in late December. People can infer from there what might be happening for some individuals. Yes. So, with that said, what happened last time?
The shark was way too fragile, despite the fact that we were, in fact, doing a moderate amount of damage.
Yeah. The giant shark was brittle.
Yes.
Your blows landed on its smooth skin.
Crunch, crunch, crunch.
I mean, it took multiple rounds of combat, but yes, you did.
And yet,
according to this, the combat ended on round 4. We will simply ignore that Tex was first in the initiative order, and Tex got the killing blow. But yes, combat ended on round 4, and you pretty much spent the whole 2 hours doing that combat, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Right. So
it was a combat episode.
It was a combat episode, and at the end of the episode, I had people who had some type of religious background, either as a paladin or a cleric. Oath of Glory Paladin is weird in this regard, but I just hand-waved that away. And everyone rolled low, so there was information that you're not going to get. So you're standing around, there's the whole music that's playing.
It disengaged and ran away, and...
It attempted to, yes.
Is it... Oh, right. Tex caught it.
Yes. It didn't quite get away because somebody filled the area with rough terrain. Not naming names.
That would be the Wild Magic Barbarian.
That might have been the Wild Magic Barbarian who did that, yes. By raging. And then rolling a die. So that was fun. But Celeblus, what did I name Celeblus? The consumer.
Devourer
might have been a good name too. Celeblus was workshopping it, but Celeblus had the intelligence of a shark. So I'm a little concerned that Papaki just rolled for initiative, but also
I had her selected. It should have been Tex.
I am likely going to have you roll for initiative, but there's also going to be a map change at some point, and initiative doesn't carry over from one map to the next. So.
Gotcha.
Ooh, maps.
Yeah. Yes, I was.
I'm going to keep that 24, though.
Yes. When we do roll for initiative, Papaki will likely be going first. We will cut to an alien planet made by kobolds every turn. This is going to be hilarious. Papaki, what do? I'm going to have lunch. Things are pretty good here.
Is it just... Is it just me? Or was that a little easy?
I've never fought a shark god before. I wouldn't know.
No, that was definitely... That didn't seem like a god's avatar. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was, but it didn't seem like it.
The drag turtle seemed like more of a threat, and I say this realizing that in the past 48 hours, we've fought a giant shark, a dragon turtle, and now a gianter shark. And the gianter shark...
And I'm still wet.
Which, well, yes, we're currently at the bottom of the ocean. There is that. The more giant shark was responsible for goading the dragon turtle to attack us, and still it seemed easier than the dragon turtle.
Yeah.
And also
It
the
didn't
shark
really
is
do any-
melting.
Oh?
It's
yeah.
what?
So
Stare
you all
at shark.
turn when Emil says this, and you don't need to roll to see this, because you'd have to roll a 1 to not see it. But bits of Celeblus are breaking off as if portrayed in anime of the character disintegrating. And they're all just like the bits are breaking off and then breaking into smaller bits and smaller bits and smaller bits until there's sort of just a mist and the mist fades away. You can give me, well, who's got the highest passive perception? Who's got a passive perception we're talking about?
I mean, my perception that I would roll would be 20.
Hold on, let me find it.
Right, it'd be whiz plus 10, which my passive perception is 20.
Oh, okay. Yeah, with a passive perception of 20.
Oh, yeah, my passive perception is also 20.
Hello and welcome to the post-level 10 characters.
It's so fun!
I have a feat!
Yes, and people get feats like this more commonly when they're level 12, which is higher than level 10. So you notice two things with your passive perception being cranked up so high. One of them is that all these little bits, as they're breaking off, act like they're flowing in a current towards a common direction. You also notice that there is no current. The ocean water is still.
I feel like that's just as creepy as it going in a What direction is it flaking off towards?
Towards that light off in the distance that you were walking towards earlier.
Don't like that.
What direction did the shark come from?
Straight up.
Up.
It tried to do death from above. Technically it happened, but that's because there was an overhand swing that felled it.
And there's been no living stuff here for a while.
I mean, there's evidence that things were living here, but you're not seeing anything living here now. Even that circle of kelp is very quickly turning brown and dying.
Have we considered that perhaps we should not go towards the light?
I have.
Emil, you cut out there.
I have considered that. I've been thinking about it for a while now, since right around the time we got attacked by a giant shark.
I think we might have a duty to go that way.
I mean, the question is going that way going to get our souls sucked out of our bodies or just our life force? Okay, I am going to do a thing.
Not a thing.
Hobby is going to pull out her little tiny holy symbols that she has been carrying around ever since her god was dead, i.e. from the future, etc. And she is going to pray for guidance, and everybody else can discuss it over her sopping, wet, sad ears. She's going to pray. I have to get a gift for this.
Are you doing anything game mechanics wise, or is this 100% RP?
This is 100% RP. I have no idea what game mechanics would be at all useful. She is just hoping that she will get a sign about whether going towards the light is for great justice or whether leaving would be for better valor.
Technically, I have an actual game mechanics thing that I could do to similar, but...
Give me a religion check for Hobby.
Oh no. Let's see if she actually has the capability to do a religion check.
And
it is one of her worst.
Does the game mechanics thing, I'm willing to address that also. That
no,
is a 2
I don't think
on
I
the
will
die for a 3 total.
And I do not have inspiration, so obviously it is very difficult to pray effectively when you are sopping wet.
Oh, dearest Lord, I am so wet. I am wet. Oh, Teriush, the thrice dead god, who hasn't quite technically died 3 times yet. I am soaked to the bone.
Help. Yes, the praying for guidance is perhaps a little bit something. It's heartfelt. But also wet.
Well, if there is a response, you cannot perceive it even with passive perception 20, because every point of your passive perception being 20 is being fed into the knowledge that you are a wet cat.
Mm-hmm. Therefore, someone else will have to do this, but she'll try for quite a while anyway, so other people talk instead.
Also, on your bingo cards,
Housekeeper, I know you're busy, and I know we can take care of ourselves, but something out there is eating an avatar, and I think you should know.
that is
I
divine
think
intervention.
it might be
You actually have.
important. And it does not succeed.
Oh,
Yeah, I believe you have to roll under your level.
yep. Equal
Unless
to
you're
or
level
lower
20,
than your
in which
cleric
case
level.
it succeeds automatically.
It
Basically,
is basically the cleric version of Wish, so yeah.
it's at level 20, your god shows up, you fist bump, and then you go play ping pong or something. I'm just imagining a god showing up for a level 20 cleric going, are these people bothering you? Were they bothering you? Right. Cracks knuckles. Let's see what we can do here. Unfortunately, they are the god of stuck drawers. So,
Oh, you never know.
Oh, is that Beth, you found another gif of the same cat.
Yeah, there's a third one I've seen somewhere. I'm looking for it.
I am pretty sure that is a therapy device, and that cat has limited.
One
ability
hopes.
with
It's a
therapy.
very sad kid.
That is a very sad cat that just occasionally just goes with their tongue and licks their nose because it is wet and more wet than it's
Mhm.
supposed to be. But it's not meowing. It's just bobbing in the water. Anyway, at this point, Italy, give me a religion check.
Does having guidance help here?
Sure. I mean, you're getting guidance from above
Yes.
to find out if you're getting guidance from above or why you're not. With a
I think
17, you get the sense that something divine was being sent your way, but it wasn't misdirected. It was withdrawn. It was pulled back reluctantly.
Well, that's probably a sign from above that we shouldn't go where even the gods don't want to go.
I think Tarish is still upset that I left one of my levels with them for so long.
One of your what?
Terrius opens their front
with
door just to see a
where?
level sitting there like a dead mouse. And goes, Hobby?
I sent some of my potential spiritual growth to with a kind of weird ritual. I didn't expect to get it back ever.
That's not how serving a god works.
I mean, eventually Tarius made that known.
Yeah. That is not something Terrius has ever told me to do.
My biological parents were from a fringe group.
Clearly, gods don't really need levels from us, right? Why am I
I've
calling
been
them
told
levels
this.
now? Why am I using your words for it?
Oh.
I mean, there are beings out there that will want to take your power and potential, but they're not gods. Most of them are undead. Hobby
is looking so wet that
about the thrice dead god, and
twice,
yeah,
only twice.
Most of the take levels are undead.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why followers of Tarish, the twice dead god, were trying to give their levels to the god. To hope there was enough there that the levels would wake it up.
Yeah, they don't need that. They get stronger when they have a lot of followers, and it's the devotion that gives them power.
Yes, it's very devotion. If it's very it shows your it shows the devotion that you're willing to give up some of your power and potential.
It's your power and potential combined with your faith that gives them strength in the first place.
It said it was a fringe group.
Yeah. Are your parents around because they might need an intervention?
No.
Oh,
no.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's been a long time.
So
I mostly
Also,
grew
they haven't been born yet.
There is that problem.
Emil stares at Tex.
Well, it's true.
Are we telling people that?
Are we not?
It's hard to explain.
You're from the
Someone
future.
do something with time.
It was for the best, or at least for the for the less bad.
You went back in time and changed a thing, didn't you?
My God is not dead now, so I'm very happy about that part.
Well, as interesting as this conversation is, either we are heading towards the light, which seems to have some significance in being a bad thing, possibly the bad thing that drove Sahuagin away from most of the city, or we're
Uh-huh.
going back and saying
Thing
mission
that-
accomplished.
Thing that even the gods don't want to deal with because I think we got a response.
So
And then the response pulled back.
that's not good.
We should probably at least see what it is then. It doesn't feel right to leave this thing that gods are afraid of next door to Oregano without at least knowing what it is.
I suppose we can at least tell member services to tell everybody else what it is before we're have all our life force sucked out or something. Sure, okay.
Would you notice if your life force was being sucked out of you?
Hope so. X, would you notice?
I like to think so.
How about we report to member services now?
That sounds like a good idea.
All right.
Who's doing the reporting?
I'll call in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Member services, what can we do for you today?
Hello. We are outside Oregano, under the ocean. And we have just defeated the avatar of a god and are going to investigate a bright shining light that apparently a different god is afraid of.
Okay. 1 sec. Let me tell my supervisor about this. And you hear,
Of course.
yeah. It's the second chances cohort. Well, okay, half of them. Well, yeah, they filled it in with a different half. They mitosis. Mitosis did? I don't know. Anyway, they're saying they killed a god, and now they're going towards a bright light. Oh no, none of them. Did any of you die?
No.
I don't
That's
think so.
Okay.
No, the
none of them-
avatar was weakened somehow.
None of them died. They said something about a god being afraid of going towards the light. Okay, I'll tell them. This might not be the case, but my supervisor said sometimes it's not that gods are afraid, but they draw lines in the sand that they usually don't like to cross. Because if they do, then ragtag bands of adventurers come over and eliminate them for reality or something like that. Which was an oddly specific response from my supervisor, which makes me think that's actually happened.
Possibly true. We do that sort of thing. All right.
That's
I thought
outside
I
of my
should let you
pay-grade.
know.
Thanks for letting us know. I'll make a note of it in your record. And yeah, good job
If you
doing
don't-
the things.
And if you don't hear from us, then now you know something.
I feel I should clarify that I'm reasonably sure this is a conversation Tex is having with
Oh,
member
yeah, that's true.
services.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
The
So, yes.
flagstones can be used for a group chat, but when you contact member services, it's one-on-one.
Okay, sorry.
So I'm totally on board with other characters chiming in based on what they think the conversation is about, hearing just one half of the conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that's hilarious.
Retcon, hobby. So now they know that if we vanish, then
Yes,
They
if
won't
we
go-
vanish, we were eaten by a bright light. Don't send anybody else.
or if you
Um,
send somebody else,
Or
then
send somebody
Ogmanites.
much more. Yeah.
Or send somebody bigger. Yes.
Okay.
Or send a lot of Ogmanites.
They're saying if they die, don't send anyone else. We're not gonna.
Or
do
send
that.
someone bigger.
We're sending many more. Okay. Do we know who? Should I tell them that? My supervisor said if you don't come back, he'll deal with it.
Oh, okay. Well then, that seems reasonable to me.
That makes
We'll let you know if
one
we
of
need further
us.
assistance.
Will do. Have fun going towards the light.
I will.
Right.
Okay, now they know.
Okay.
And that's when member services cuts the connection.
Mhm.
All right. So you head towards the light, and I am going
Yes.
to.
Cautiously.
There is a montage of the party walking and or floating and or being drugged by the tail while floating towards the light, past many abandoned spires that once housed life back when they were skyscrapers, and again under the waves when they were reclaimed by CLs, and again when the Sahuagin took over, but now not so much.
Is there anyone hiding?
With your passive perception of 20, I'm going to say you don't see anything moving. You don't see any signs of recent life here. There's signs that there was a thriving community here at one time.
Uh-huh.
And there's signs of destruction of that thriving community. There's signs that things were done after that thriving community went away by second community. But now we are at 11sies, and second community seems to have also left in a hurry. And the light...
Well, I said, well.
Yes. You walk for another good 2 hours, and it becomes obvious that the light is not a pinpoint. It is a dome. There is a bluish glowing dome over a central structure, which is also a spire, but the dome doesn't go all the way up to the top of the spire. It is, if I check my notes, because I wrote this down. As you get closer, if the buildings near it, the dome, are of the same scale as the ones you're walking past, this thing very easily covers several square miles of space.
I wonder if that's growing.
I hope not.
We need to, get a bunch of Augmenites and sort of stick them in place to watch it for a few days, probably.
You think an Augmenite is just going to volunteer to wait at the bottom of the ocean and see if something that gods may or may not be afraid of is going to, grow?
I said Augmenites,
I think they'd
didn't
start
I?
experimenting on it.
Well, there is that problem.
I mean, that wasn't my first thought about what they would do, but that seems to be my fault specifically. I apologize for not seeing that first. That sounds worse.
That's
Yeah.
Augmenites.
As you continue to get closer,
All right.
it becomes clear that there is only one spire sticking up through the dome, and it's sticking up right through the center of it. The space around it is clear. Maybe there were spires there at one point. There are not any spires now except for that central one. Okay, you're surrounded by spires, but they don't go all the way to the dome. There is clear ground between them. You eventually get up to it.
Yeah.
Because unless you tell me, we stopped walking a mile away from it or whatever, you walk right up to it.
If one, do we feel things sucking our life force? And two, as we get closer, does it become apparent whether it's like bisecting the local spires or if this is something that was there when these were originally built?
I'd like you to make an Arcana check.
Oh, goody. Something else I can be bad at.
That's
No.
a nat
No,
one.
I'm not
GM
making
intrusion.
I-
Wrong game.
Hey! Wrong game.
The dome
No,
eats
I will
you.
not make an Arcana check.
The dome eats you.
The dome eats me.
It does not eat you.
Serious?
No.
Okay, I was worried.
But yeah, you
I'm not touching it.
You peer at it accusingly. You gaze inward as well. You try to get a sense for what's going on with this. After all, you're an arcane trickster rogue. Clearly, you would have some sense of what's going on here, and you conclude that it's shiny.
I'm wet. I conclude that I am wet.
Give me a perception check. Yes, I'm making you roll, even though you have passive perception 20.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. There's my
That's a
nat 20.
There's your nat 20.
I rolled a nat 1, and then I rolled a nat 20. Great.
You glare at this dome, because you don't trust it. And
Mm-hmm.
you know how when sand and dirt are wet, they sort of turn into the texture changes. They look more smooth.
Mm-hmm.
As you're glaring at the dome, it occurs to you that you're seeing granules of sediment on the other side.
Granules of something
Sediment.
you cut out.
It's
On
not
the
all
other
sand
side.
because bottom of the ocean, but it's arranged in a texture that you usually only see on something that is dry.
Floating?
There's nothing
Or-
floating other than you.
Text-skin, everybody. Let's not walk
Yes.
through that. It's dry on the other side.
That's concerning.
Anybody got a stick?
Uh,
Maybe a 10-foot one.
Tex uses a torch.
Yes,
think
I'll
I've
toss a
got-
torch through.
There is a light source briefly. Because you're
I'll toss a torch through.
okay. You toss a torch through. It lands on the other side.
Does it dissolve?
No, it's just there.
I will poke my hand in.
Your hand goes through. There is no resistance.
I will walk in.
You're on the other side. The ground crunches slightly under your feet.
I lean back slightly, look up slightly, and raise my chest. Yeah, I can't breathe. Someone else is going to have to judge that.
Emil says, "Don't look at me.
I
I'm
guess
dead."
I walk through.
Isili walks through. Isili is dry. And Amelia asphyxiates. No, that's
gonna
not
try
true.
to-
You're fine. I talked over you. What was that?
I briefly remove my cap of water breathing just to be double sure
Yeah.
that this isn't like an illusion.
You notice that the floor inside this dome is a giant green circle. That's not true.
I put my cap back on and try to walk back out.
You walk back out. You are wet.
All right. Isn't trapping us on that side?
It isn't sucking your life force out.
Don't think so.
Bobby would normally be more cautious, but also people seem to be dry over there. Hobby her fur would be standing on end, but, wet.
I mean, it could be parts of it I'm sure are matted, but there's other parts that will probably be floofed because flowing underwater.
Yeah. She is going to carefully, however, put her tail, sort of slink up to it on all fours and swing her tail into the dry to see if the blinding light burns her fur away or something.
That should not have been Emil making that roll. I was
You had
gonna
Emil
joke-
selected.
Yeah, I was going to joke and say you take 14 points of dry damage, but that's not true. Your tail is dry.
Hobby, knowing that this is a bad idea, scrambles into the dry.
You are dry. You remember being wet. It is a horrible nightmare. You have woken up from this nightmare. You are dry. Your clothing is dry. Your fur is dry. Even the undercoat, which takes forever to dry when your sibling is not there with prestidigitation ready to go, is dry.
Emil, do you want to come
Emil's
with
already
us, or
through.
do you want to go back and... Okay.
Emil also wants to be dry.
We've reached the point where the majority of the party have gone through. Emil will not be left alone out here. There might be another shark god.
I suppose if you're an aquatic species, you don't want to be near the dry, but also I don't like how all the living things were dead.
And this needs to be a meme on the bingo card. This thing that we reference here. Because Ellie is saying, and this one is dry, and this one is dry, and did you submerge these in a temperate forest?
But is the sand gritty and does it get everywhere?
It is coarse.
Is
and it
everything dead? Is everything dead? Or is there just nothing living here?
Well, everything inside the dome that you can see is clearly dead. And that is quite possibly because things designed and evolved to live on the bottom of the ocean do not tend to survive very well in an aerated environment. And
But as we passed, even the corals were dead.
yes, so far as you could tell. Yes. I say that only because none of you has a proficiency in marine biology. If you did, this would be a different game.
The question I'm asking is, are we seeing dead things or are we not seeing live things?
You are seeing evidence
I'm
that The ecosystem that you saw on the edge of the city that had like coral growing in places and kelp and other aquatic plants growing. As you got closer and closer to this point, that went away. And in this spot here, what you're seeing is that ecosystem that was at the edge, you're seeing its remnants here. None of that is alive. But also on the other side of the dome, none of that is alive either. It's just that on that side, it's wet. On this side, it's dried out. Give me a nature check.
I'm sorry, I'm still not getting the answer I'm looking for.
I am misunderstanding your question.
Okay. There's a difference in my mind between are there dead bodies?
No.
Or is there just nothing? Except, like, it's obvious that there was something here and now it's not.
There are no dead.
Is it equally possible that nothing died and everything just left?
There are no dead Sahuagin. There are no dead CLs. There's dead coral. There's dead plant life. And there's one or two, from what you can see, dead fish that look like they've been there for a while.
Okay.
Although, if someone wants to give me that nature check.
I will give you that nature check. The question I was asking, essentially, is it possible that everything living was just pushed out of this area, including the coral, which will have left its calcium, quote, skeleton, unquote, behind?
That's a good question. Well, the plants can't move, so yeah.
Right.
But with the nature check of 18, the dead things that you've encountered on the way here didn't look like they'd really gone very far through the decaying process. The fish that you see here look like they've desiccated a bit. They're in a dry atmosphere. They also do not look like they have not spent a lot of time rotting.
Okay.
So they're desiccated, but also they haven't been here long.
Well, desiccated in the sense like if you take a fish and you just leave it on a rock and come back the next morning, it's going to have less water in it. And it might have been here for a day or two, but you're not looking at something that is halfway on the way to being fertilizer. I wouldn't put it in my sushi.
Well, if whatever's in that spire wanted to kill us from this distance, and could kill us from this distance, it would have killed us from this distance. So, what do you say we go find out what's inside?
You know, there wasn't any, like, resistance going through that boundary. The fish that are in here might have just swum in by accident.
I didn't see a lot of fish swimming around the area, though.
Well, right now...
Maybe higher up.
But
could have fallen.
How quickly did this dome thing appear?
And how long has it been here?
Yeah, that's fair.
The
None of the fish have started rotting yet, so it can't have been here all that long.
The Sahuagin raids started happening about a little more than a week ago. I mean, it'd been a week at the time we picked up the quest.
Mm-hmm. So a week, maybe a little more of a week for them to find out what's going on and freak out. I guess we go investigate, huh? Tex, you want to lead?
I assumed I already was.
All right.
What is the environment inside the dome?
There is a large oil tanker that's missing the front of it. You are not in an environment. Jokes aside, memes aside, it is very much like the area outside the dome in its composition, but just take away all the water. Well, all the seawater. Like when you step through, you did not desiccate yourself by walking through. All of the water that's internal is fine. But anything that could be clarified as seawater doesn't come through the barrier.
What about structures?
There is only one structure. It is a spire that looks very much like the others, except there's only one of them.
And it's dry.
It appears to be dry at least to the top of the dome, but it extends up through the dome. And now that you're on this...
Go ahead. I thought you were done.
This is the last bit of information. Now that you're on this side of it, you do see that, well, all these spires are not, like, just smooth obelisks. They've got indentations in them that may have been doors or windows in the past. Many of them melted possibly beyond recognition, and you only realize that it could have been a door or a window because there's others that still look like that, and you're putting two and two together. But there's one of them that is going deeper into the structure, and there is a glowing blue light coming out of it. You could not notice this on the other side because the whole dome is glowing blue, and that kind of hid this, like holding an LED light up to the sun. Only reverse that, have the sun be totally around the LED light. You're dead then, but that's besides the point. But yes, there is an opening that is glowing blue, and there appear to be railroad tracks going up to it. That is not canon. I'm just pointing out that there's some railroading going on here.
Well, before we approach the spire, why don't we take a break for, let's say, an hour or so, and see if anything comes out to greet us?
And, we've been playing for about an hour, so let's do this in real time. But we're actually going to speed it up. We're going to take a 5-minute break. Let's finish it in 15.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, hitting the button now. And we're back. And there was no banter while we were gone whatsoever.
Lies.
Okay, none of the banter was in character.
I quibble.
None of the banter was in character for characters that are currently in this campaign.
Yes.
And it wasn't even a character that we could apply a bingo spot for, because it wasn't in Tuxa yet. Okay, so you wait patiently outside in the dry for an hour.
Taking a short rest.
Yes. After about 15 minutes, Emil sits down. After about half an hour, Emil is laying down looking up at the dome.
Emil is bored.
Emil is looking up at the blue.
Hobbies?
He doesn't get to do that anymore.
Oh, poor Emil.
Could be worse. He could be Mari.
Hmm.
They could have a long conversation of, you think you have it bad.
I have to deal with weird dogs.
There's your inspiration. You think you have it bad? My dad wanted me to go in the family business. What's that? Oh, putting down undead. You think you have it bad? I'm a... You're a what? A paladin? Okay, I don't see how that's relevant. It's fine. You win. Okay. So, you wait an hour. No one comes out.
You cut out for me, Crash. What was that?
You wait an hour and no
then
one comes out.
That's probably good.
So, this means we're going to have to go in and investigate, aren't we?
Seems like.
Well,
Yes, that is the plan.
Does anyone here feel like all their life has been sucked out of them?
Not yet.
Don't think so.
Okay. Well, I can honestly tell you I know what that feels like, and it's not occurring right now for me either. So, go team?
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Does my child divinity require a long rest or a short rest?
Yes.
Please just imagine me giving you a look.
I usually do.
You must then finish a short or long rest to use your channel divinity again.
Well, did you click on the button for a short rest?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then you should have that option of it. Oh, you don't have a little checkbox for that on your character sheet. You've got
Actually, I don't either.
You got your lay on hands pool and feline agility.
It's down in my passives for some reason.
I would say ours is not to wonder why, but that is against our nature. Ours is to wonder why and complain about it when necessary or not necessary.
In any case, if it restores on a short rest, then I'm happy. I don't know why. Why is it? It's not passive. Go on. I'm just going to.
Oh, sure.
Edit
It's
item.
fine.
The channel divinity is passive. It's the uses of it that are active.
Which is a convoluted way of doing it, but I imagine that devs are aware of this and said, but it works this way, and left it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure it was Wizards of the Coast devs, to be honest, because we're looking at an implementation of that in a different VTT, which is now maintained by Wizards of the Coast, but they don't do it well.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, do you go in the Spire?
Nowhere else to go.
Oh, no.
Don't like being out here.
I have it on good authority that you could have tipped over the rail car.
Yeah, we could have bailed out. We could call member services and bail out, but it's not like
Yeah.
there's any place else we can go with it except, back to where member services puts us, assuming that
And-
it works inside this place.
And it wouldn't be the first time that I gave you a scenario where the waiting game was for how long before you figure out that this is above your pay grade and you need to bail. Because
So we
not every
haven't
fight is
figured
gonna-
out that's above our. We haven't figured it out yet. So
I mean, there was one campaign where it started off with you fleeing from a giant worm that ate half of the city of Adrolanka.
but I wasn't in that one.
Well, you weren't.
Right.
Tom's character got eaten in that one.
Oops.
All right. So you go in the spire, which means I can activate the map. You've activated my
Dun,
map card.
dun.
There's a giant person in a black t-shirt and glasses standing off to our right.
Patreon. Angela Maps.
Yes. Angela
This map is
Maps
brought
has a
to you by-
Patreon, and this map is from that one of their publicly released maps to advertise their Patreon.
Nice. Well, we're advertising it.
Yay! I added the glowy bits though, because that's a custom light source. It's actually several custom light sources. So this is very sparkly.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
You are in what appears to be a 30 by 30 room. There's a lot of machinery in here. A lot of it looks like it's copper or bronze, or maybe just has a patina on it that makes it look that way. Could be there for the aesthetic. There are large pipes coming out of the ground, bending at a right angle, and then going into these very large, you don't want to say glass for sure, but transparent tanks that are filled with glowing, swirling blue something. That is giving off enough light to illuminate this entire chamber. And you most definitely can roll for initiative at this point, because we've had the map change. So the initiative is actually on here. Emil got a nat 20, by the way.
Nice.
Do I get to keep my 24 from before?
You know what? Sure. I'll update combatant to 4. So the tank is still going before Emil. Emil is not upset with this.
Sully did her best.
Also,
And
just
Ellie, it's a 30 by 30 if you're counting the squares. My apology.
okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That was the question I was asking,
Yes.
because I noticed it was 30 squares across.
Yeah. But it is it was a non-zero amount of time to get this to line up properly in Foundry, and if you look closely, it still doesn't, especially over at the bottom right side. But oops.
Details.
Yeah.
We just won't go there.
It's close enough. Well, no, don't go there, because that's where Angela from Angela Maps is.
Right.
Yes.
You don't know if she's an ally or not.
Right. Well, map. Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is
So-
her map. Therefore, she has lair
Mhm.
actions.
Is this a platform, a design set into the floor, or a fine Persian carpet?
So the thing you're looking at one point, it might have been a fine carpet. It is less fine now. It looks like it was underwater in the ocean for some time, and then was laid out, dried out, and then machinery was put on top. And some of that machinery, when wiring needed to go back under the floor, the wiring was just shoved straight through the carpet into the floor, or a hole was dug through the carpet. So
Gotcha.
it was laid out to bring the room together, and then whoever was modifying this space decided, I cannot be bothered to move this.
Okay. I am walking through without quite touching anything, if I can, to get a sense of the space.
Okay.
Actually, hang on.
Emil
Yeah,
is
that's as far as I can go.
going to also be walking through in the general direction of the person who has gotten more than one killing blow recently. And Isili, what are you doing?
I'm gonna come examine these things.
Also, can we just point out that there's 4 characters on this map right now, and the only one that didn't get an initiative of 20 or higher was the one that's dex-based. What's up with that?
I don't know. Was I supposed to roll it at some bonus or other? I didn't bother.
Well, initiative would include your dexterity bonus. So, and that
I rolled
does it automatically.
pathetically. The dice hate me here.
It's fine. Isili, if you are going to examine this contraption in front of you on the carpet, Isili is called to the carpet to investigate a thing. I'm going to ask you to make an Arcana check, but you may also add your religion bonus.
My full religion bonus?
Yes. Well, yes and
Alright.
no. It's all the points that get added to it except for your intellect, because your intellect is already in Arcana.
So you want me to add my proficiency bonus?
Wait, the way I'm doing this, hold on. Just add 5 to the Arcana roll.
Okay, so
So we
I
are doing
can't.
it like
So I
this.
do it. Okay, and I am also going to add.
Guidance because you can.
Yes.
There's a campaign that I've been following online that the GM for it has started very much pointing out that you can't Baldur's Gate 3 it and just add guidance to every single check that you do when you're in the middle of a city, because casting a spell is something that is obvious when there's verbal components.
Yeah, but I figure that I can cast the spell before I examine something.
Oh yeah, but when you're in the when you're trying to be in a verbal argument with like the town guard to explain that you're not responsible for a brutal murder, and your friend over there keeps casting a spell for each sentence you say.
It depends on what the verbal component is. You know, like, oh, Lord, help him. Oh, Lord, help him. Lord, help him. Figure out how to talk his way out of this one.
Lord, help him. He knows not what he does. Lord, help him. He knows not what he is still doing, as his foot is firmly lodged into his mouth so far
Lord,
that he
help
knows what
me.
his
I
knee
hope he
tastes
knows
like.
what he's saying.
A town guard leans over and says, "Are you sure that spell is doing anything? It's really not helping him."
I heard like the last syllable of what you said, Crash.
Well, it was out of context anyway.
Okay.
To respond to Isili's 22, the contraption in front of Isili appears to be measuring pressure. It is not actively like there's nothing from the large containers to either side of you going through this. This is a collection of sensors that are here to let you know something's about to go horribly wrong. Now, based on where the red and black markings are on this thing, you don't see any evidence that something is about to go horribly wrong, unless this working properly is the horribly wrong that you should be worried about. And I think I just understood myself. Did anyone else understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
I think so.
So basically, these are the gauges that say, hey, everything is within working parameters. There is one gauge that appears to have a very low number, but it's the one saying how much there is to condense still. Apparently, there's not a lot of ambient whatever this is.
Water?
Oh, no, that's a different gauge. That's over there.
Mm.
And that one is actually 2 gauges, one for outside humidity and inside humidity. Outside humidity is at the little 8 symbol that's on its side. Inside humidity is a little bit above a 0. All right. So, Hobby, what are you doing?
Hobby made a stealth roll and got a 24, a dirty 24, and is going to glance at the things and start prowling around, probably under these things,
Okay.
if there's enough room.
So you're, for the listeners at home, you are
Yes.
crawling under the pipes, the very large pipes that if there was a way to get into them, they look large enough that you would be able to crawl through them like in a Die Hard movie. However, there isn't a way to get into them, and I'm not sure you'd want to.
No.
However, yes, they do come up out of the ground enough before they make the right angle that you can crawl under them when you go down on all fours, which I imagine you are definitely doing right now because
Cat.
Yes. Isli could also go under it, but would have to duck.
Prowl. Examining
Possibly
whatever
rubbing
I
up
am
against them.
passing. No, I don't want these. They are not mine. These are not mine. I don't want them. I'll rub against them if I decide that I like them. I don't like them yet.
Give me a dexterity save.
Dexterity. Saving throw?
Yes.
Okay.
Which I say because I want you to have the higher number if there's two numbers. Hey, that's a 28.
28?
For a natural 19, which takes us to 28. Because saving throw. So you manage to avoid even your tail, which is twitching because...
Cat.
Well, yes, cat, and this is a high alertness situation. So in the same way that a domestic house cat would have their tail twitch when they are stalking something, your tail is twitching now. But even so, with that instinctive action, you are able to keep your tail away from everything that you're walking around so it doesn't bump into anything.
That is because I'm a rogue. Gotta practice. And it's working.
And for the record, if you go to your effects tab, that's where it says you're concentrating on Shadow Blade, and you can delete the effect there.
Ah, okay. Oh, there it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think it's safe to assume that after...
It's been a minute.
Yeah. After canonically 3 hours of travel plus 1 hour of just hanging out and resting, you are not still holding a Shadow Blade.
It only lasts a minute.
I stand by my statement.
Exactly. I agree.
Okay. And we are back up to Tex.
Tex is seeing what the sink does.
Okay. So this contraption that you're looking at, which kind of looks like a basin. Okay, so there's water coming up into it. You can't see from where. If you concentrate on it, you will... No, that's a different campaign. That's a different campaign.
I put my hands on either side of it and concentrate.
You see a Felta going, wait a minute.
Wrong number.
You're not my great. Cut to 15 minutes later. Great granddaughter or their friends. Anyway, to give a more serious response to your inquiry, this contraption that you're looking at comes up off the floor a little bit, not enough for it to be considered difficult terrain or even a roadblock, but maybe about like 2 or 3 inches higher than the rest of the floor. The patterning on the north and south sides of it that looks kind of like a grate is, in fact, a grate. And the...
Great.
Oh, yeah, it's swell. Well, okay, technically, it's the blue thing in the middle that is swelling. When you were walking up to it, it looked like a puddle in there, like somebody had filled a bird bath up with water. But it is actually rising up a little bit as you approach it.
That's interesting. I am not going to touch it.
Okay. Emil is going to come over and say, you're not going to touch that, are you?
I wasn't planning on it.
Okay.
Although I do see what just got rolled.
It's fine. Isli, what are you doing?
I spy with my little eye something that begins with "oh no."
You already have your dang it. You already have your inspiration.
Isli really has no idea what to do with any of this.
Of course, because Isli is a pinch hitter.
I am not an Ogmanite. I've never really wished I had an Ogmanite before.
I'm not sure we wish we had one now. It would depend on the Ogmanite.
Isli prays to their god. Their god's like, you see everywhere the light touches. These are where people have their hearths. Over these lands we have domain. What about that shadowy blue glowy place over there? Don't go there.
Yeah,
Cut
we don't deal with them.
There's 3 hyenas over in the corner laughing at you. But it looks like Isley has also come over close to the puddle that is inverting itself. And
Should that be doing that?
I don't know.
it rises up and up and up. It is clearly either it is expanding or it is being fed from something inside or underneath. Because it increases in volume and forms a humanoid shape. Color is added to it. The first thing you notice is that the hair is neon. Which color neon?
It's you.
All of them.
Bobby thinks, oh, litter box.
It's been a long time.
Oh, not that long. Why, I keep bumping into you.
Sorry, I'm quoting Portal 2.
Oh, yes. Would you like to go to space?
No.
Like,
No, we will not go to space today. We will not go to space today.
Space. I'm in space. I'm in space.
No.
Yes, you are, my friend. Space. Anyway.
Nope.
I must say, the more I follow your adventures, the more I am inspired to investigate all kinds of things. Do you know I only recently found this place?
Well, I do now.
It's a wonderful little nugget of nostalgia. It looks so much like my home probably looked right before it was obliterated off the face of the planet.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't kill a god-eating monster without breaking a few planets, am I right? Or at least that's what the gods thought at the time. Oh, are you self-conscious about that? Sclerora...
About what?
Sorry?
About what?
Well, Isley said, I'm... and then sort of just stopped. And Sclerora Springweather will sort of just glide, not walking smoothly, but float with her feet not quite touching the ground over to Isley. And when she gets to Isley, she's about the same height as Isley, which is interesting because Isley isn't a human. I forget. You're a halfling, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Lightfoot halfling. But anyway, she approaches you at your level. She got on your level. No. Your god wasn't involved. These were older gods. Your god is, younger than me, it seems.
I guess she is. There's a lot we don't know about what happened before.
Before what?
Well, before what happened before the other gods came. I mean, the Hearthkeeper's one of the gods that came from elsewhere, but there was a long time when
this planet was isolated from everything else because a god-destroying monster was set loose here.
Emil, the next time someone complains about me talking about time travel, I'm going to remind them about before there was before.
Are you following this? Because I'm not quite following this.
Ugh.
That was a ridiculous aside to Emil.
I'm assuming that your voice lowered to the equivalent of a robotic whisper.
Yes.
And Emil's response was similar, but if I whisper, I'm not sure the mic will pick me up properly over Discord. It would be in the recording, but you'd have to listen to the recording afterwards to know what I said.
Not entirely, but it's fascinating.
So, to sum up a very long story, a bunch of people, back before any of you or your races were here, got together and conspired with some old ones. You know, the big things with defy physics and, they have tentacles where a face should be, stuff like that. Well, that did not go well. There were a lot of people who thought that was generally a bad idea. So, they decided to fight against that. And some gods decided to help. And pretty much wrecked most of the planet. But, eventually they won in part because they released the Tarask on the world. Do you know you can't kill the Tarask? It just doesn't happen. They tried, though. They tried to hit the planet with a moon. Now, you might think, Wouldn't that kill everything on the planet? And the answer is, it would. Some of us resented that.
I'm really surprised we never tried that.
What?
Sclerora just looks at you with an eyebrow raised.
Had some questions, and now I have some different questions.
Sclerora floats right over to Tex. Could you please elaborate? Because I'm trying to decide if I should be angry at you.
Oh, I'm one of 3 representatives of a galaxy-spanning army from the future who were tasked with the subjugation of all life.
Oh, the jurors. Yes, that's right. I've been doing experiments on that for quite some time now. This is not about that. This is just a side project here. But, so that's what you were referencing then. Okay. I wouldn't recommend it, though. Hitting a planet with a moon? Well, I'd say it's the nuclear option, but it's far worse than that, technically. And so much valuable real estate is wasted.
Well, it comes back together eventually.
Yes, I spent untold eons in a never-changing phylactery that just kept reliving those last final moments before the planet was shattered. Always being an apprentice, because nothing was changing. They came back together eventually, but the wait felt eternal. Things are going much faster now that I'm out. Much, much faster.
I suppose most things would.
Especially if you put your finger on the hand of the clock. Oh, but speaking of time, I am...
And we've been playing for about 300 years.
I am just about fresh out right now, so I'm going to have to leave you to play here without me. Now, it won't be without supervision, though. I do have a friend that I think you would probably be interested in meeting. You might have met them before, even though, well, they weren't a friend earlier. I just made them. Ta-ta! And Sclerora vanishes.
Do we still have our anti-nanite squirt guns?
My assumption is you travel with them at all times.
Yeah.
I've got
Even though
mine in my in my inventory still, so I was assuming I had it.
Yep, there's mine. Hobby was quietly readying it while hiding
There is...
and being very...
Some people get it into their heads that they should punish everyone for the fact that they suffered. Oh.
I don't think she cares about punishing people. I think she's just doing whatever the criff she wants.
I don't think anyone she'd want to punish is still alive unless they're a god. And
Didn't she
that
just
doesn't make me
say?
feel happy.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Terrish ought to count entirely.
No, that's not the point I'm making. The point is, it takes a certain level of power to commit deicide, and she seemed confident enough that she could do it.
Oh, yeah.
There's a gurgling sound.
Oh.
The tanks on either side of you are filling with bubbles.
What was in them
Oh,
before?
good.
They're filling with bubbles, which means whatever was in them is getting displaced by the bubbles. That volume is decreasing.
Make sure my hat is on securely. We're probably going to get wet again.
The ground shakes. It shakes again.
Look
1,
up, look down the ground.
2, 3 tentacles rise up out of that circular grate to the north, wrap around the bars of it, and pull down. And it sort of like just folds in on itself, like pushing a coffee filter through a pipe. And
That seems bad.
what rises up, your first thought is, oh, it's a shark. Because the body looks like a shark, except it's definitely not smooth. It's rough. This is like no shark that you've memed before.
But it wasn't a shark.
It was,
a
rock
shark lobster.
No. It's actually, it's a shark kraken.
Sharktopus.
And you've already rolled for initiative. So, Tex, with a 24, you're going first. What do you want to do?
Do I do my usual thing? I think I don't.
You make a persuasion check.
Yes.
With the power of friendship compels you. The power of friendship compels you.
No, that's me.
That's a certain kobold I know. More than one kobold, actually. Closest one's on the moon. All right. Chain breaker. That's an 8 and a 3, which brings it to a 17 and a 12, because level 12 character. And neither of those hits.
Okay,
Or
I'm going
rather-
to use my... Sorry?
I was rephrasing to say they're hitting, but its skin is rubbery and it's sort of the blows are bouncing off. I see a 1d4.
And I want to know if an 18 is going to hit.
An 18 would have hit the shark god, but an 18 does not seem to do undue harm to the shark kraken.
Okay, then I'm going to use my inspiration.
And that's
Oh,
another
And get another 17.
Okay.
You get to re-roll the bond thing again, or is it still the 1?
No, actually I do, I think.
For inspiration spending, I'd allow that. I can see some instances where reroll would not allow that. But in this case, so that brings it up to a dirty 20. That will hit.
Okay.
Also, I want you to marvel at my shark kraken icon that I worked on for a while.
I've been marveling at it. Yes.
A maneuver. A goading attack maneuver. And also 14 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yes.
Applied to the shark kraken. I just like saying shark kraken.
And the shark kraken must make a wisdom saving throw DC 17.
Okay. This seems to be smarter than the shark god. Also, that was a nat 20.
Okay.
Luckier than the shark god.
That too. Well, there's a 5% chance. Emil has decided to not just stand in the back and continuously shoot crossbow bolts, because that did not work at all last time. So Emil rushes forward and is... Okay, that's the shark kraken stats. Emil does not use bite or tentacle. And that was...
Sorry, that's two more damage from the maneuver.
Okay.
I forget every time.
I'm just glad I remember that if I type -2 into the hit point total, it subtracts it from the total. I appreciate that Ellie figured that out. Okay. Emil is going to... Hold on. What is your bonus for that? Huh. Emil's going to attack with claws. He's got a better chance of hitting with that. He's got a better chance of hitting with that if he doesn't roll a 7.
Well,
Yes. But because he's not firing a crossbow bolt, he actually has... Oh, wait, no, he doesn't have multi-attack. I am using a vampire stat block, but it's a weakened vampire stat block, so it doesn't have multi-attack. So
I
that's
have to ask a question. And I'm very sorry.
Please do.
Can you use Holy Weapon on an unarmed attack?
While
Smite, you mean, right?
No, I mean Holy Weapon.
the answer is no with asterisk, because some attacks don't count as unarmed, even though they're done with a hand. In this case, that's a claw attack. The claw is the weapon.
That's fair.
And monks
Casting
can punch
Holy
ghosts.
Weapon on him wouldn't help him very much.
Yeah,
if
a 13
he can't
is not
hit,
high
he can't
enough.
multi-attack.
No, but today is the 21st, and it would make them Santa Claus.
Ellie, never apologize for your puns.
ugh.
Also, it's going to be way closer to spring when this goes live.
Yeah, I know.
This is probably going to go live in April, I think. I have to check.
So you're saying it's going to be an Easter
This-
punny?
This line of
Yes.
discussion makes a lot more sense now, because first I thought you were going to try to punch something, and then
No.
I thought you were asking me to cast a spell on him.
These digressions are the best digressions. However, that's Emil's turn. It is now Isili's turn.
Isili would like to cast Guardian of Faith,
Okay.
and
And I always forget if I have to make the saving throw right now or at the start of the Shark Kraken's turn.
wait, it doesn't say starts its turn within. Does Guardian of Faith not do anything unless you move? I shouldn't cast that then. If it doesn't do anything unless you move, no one should cast that.
I feel like that's always been interpreted, how I've always interpreted it, to be honest, has been if you're still in that space on your turn, you're going to take the damage. Because it doesn't make sense if the
Yeah.
Guardian of Faith would hit you once and then go, Okay, yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
The Sharktopus just keeps chewing down on the cleric that casts a spell. You okay over there? Okay, I'm hearing some screams, but I'm not hearing a no. I guess you're fine. So I'm going to interpret that as every turn that they're within 10 feet of it.
Okay.
Which means I'm going to roll. I didn't fail the save because I'm not a shark kraken.
I don't know how big 10 feet is.
2 squares.
Yeah, but within 10 feet is slightly bigger because that's a radius of 10 feet, not a diameter of 10 feet.
I'm just going to go by the grate that's on there because if your Guardian of Faith is like right in the middle of it, 10 feet out would. Also, looking at the time, I'm not going to stress too much about it and say, yeah, that's probably fine.
I tried to draw a circle.
Okay, but that is 20 points of radiant damage to the Shark Kraken, which, oddly enough, actually hurts it in spite of it being made mostly of radiant energy. There's a resonance or something. All right. Do you do anything else?
Yes. I also cast Spiritual Weapon. And I'm going to use another 4th level spell for that because that will make it do more damage. And apparently I crit.
Nice.
And it still did not do the right amount of damage. It should be another 2d8 because it for some reason won't add the extra damage from being cast at a higher level.
Well, I will take care of that because you've taken care of it. And Longkep was also here, which amuses me greatly that it doesn't always put the right character when you're doing die rolls. This is a clip show.
Oh, it's because you have long.
There.
Yeah.
And you were there. And you were there. And why was a necromantic lizard there? I don't understand this.
That is not my spiritual weapon.
Oh my. Okay, you get inspiration for that. All right. At the end of your turn, we're going to have a legendary action take place. I need to change this so people can actually see things. The Shark Kraken uses Lightning Storm.
Did I get a roll? Did I get mine?
You have to click where it says DC 23 Dexterity Saving Throw.
Yes, but did Hobby get her turn?
This is a legendary action, so it's happening at the end of Isley's turn.
Well, that's just obnoxious.
Hobby will get Hobby's turn immediately after this.
Okay. Legendary actions. So, Dexterity saving throw. I presume
basically,
normal.
Within 120 feet of the Shark Kraken, you take lightning damage. Because, oops, all lightning.
Hang on, I think I have something
Emil
about
got
this.
a 26 with a nat 20.
Emil got a nat 20.
Yes.
Does Emil get to... Let's see.
And Hobby also made the dex save, which is nice.
So that's...
Hobby just made it. You had to roll a 23 to make it.
Oh, well, I rolled a 23.
Yes, you did. And everyone who makes the save takes half damage.
I would like...
And everyone who failed the save takes no damage.
To check something here. That appears to be a... I would like to use that. Does it count? Can I use Uncanny Dodge?
Uncanny Dodge is for attack roll things. This was a saving throw.
Not legendary.
What you use here is evasion.
Yes.
Do I have evasion?
You do. It's under passive abilities.
Yeah.
Oh.
So basically, you...
There it is.
Not only do you dodge the lightning, but you dodge all the lightning.
Yes.
So that is... If you fail the save, you take 14 points of damage. If you make the save, you take 7 points of damage, unless you're the cat, in which case you've had static electricity problems that were worse than this.
I nimbly dodge. Dip, 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 dip.
Lightning comes with rain, and Hobby really doesn't want to get wet again.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that is the end of Isley's turn. It is now Hobby's turn.
Bad fish. Bad sushi. Let's see. 2. I get to move 5 squares, right?
Yes.
And I
leave
can
it to
add
They're
the
the
5 foot
thing.
squares.
skills.
1, 2, 3, 5.
I always count by 5, so I don't end up thinking in number of squares.
I am going to activate as a bonus action.
You activate the sump pump, and the shark kraken is pulled back into the drain.
Look, if I see something that looks like a sump pump around here, I would totally do that. What I am doing is I am activating my Eldritch Claw tattoo. I am activating Eldritch Maul as a bonus action.
Okay.
I am going to smack. Okay, and yep, I'm going to smack the shark now for this one, just all by itself. For 1 minute, each of my melee attacks with a weapon or an unarmed strike can reach a target up to 15 feet away from me. So that's 5, 10. It's within 15 feet, right? In addition, my melee attacks. Yeah. In addition, my melee attacks deal an extra 1d6 force damage on a hit. I can't do it again till dawn, but hey.
Okay. And for the listeners at home, Eldritch Maul is Maul, like the big Warhammer thing. That isn't technically a Warhammer because that's a different thing. But yeah.
Not like the Terry Pratchett book with
But
the Eldritch Maul, Mall.
No, not like that. Although could also be that guy with all the facial tattoos from the Star Wars prequels.
I mean, that's probably what he's named after was Maul, the
Yeah, that is exactly
big
what he's named
weapon.
after, I'm sure.
Poor thing.
Yes.
Okay, just checking my little thingies here, and I'm just I don't have advantage on this attack, so it's going to be normal, I assume. 23? Will 23 hit?
A 23 will hit.
Well then, I would like to... Can I do a smite with it?
Let me reread Eldritch Maul real quick. So, in the 2024 rules, there's several paragraphs about applying common sense to things because the rules as written allow things like peasant cannons, but they're not supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
However, I refuse to follow the 2024 rules. So we're not going to worry about that. Yeah, you can smite this.
I mean, it's a tattoo. It's part of the magic tattoo, and the magic tattoo is part of me, so it's all connected.
Yes. Now, as written, your melee attacks now have a 15-foot range, which is really weird. But, cat.
Are they ranged weapons?
It's still a melee weapon.
That's 13 on the smite, and the dagger itself it does 9. Nice.
But also, this
Oh,
would be a
right, and I
sneak
get
attack.
to do... Was it a sneak attack?
It's
not a sneak...
Shark Kraken has allies of yours within range of it that's engaged with.
Oh. Yeah, but that's why I asked whether it was a ranged weapon or not. Because a sneak attack has to be with a finesse or ranged weapon.
Dagger's a finesse weapon.
Oh, I thought you were using claws.
I'm using the Eldritch Claw tattoo, which says while it's on my skin, my unarmed strikes are considered magical, but the Eldritch Maul...
I thought you were using claws.
No, I pulled out my dagger.
Okay.
See, that's the next one right under it.
And the writing for it says with the weapon or unarmed strike. So unarmed strike is there, but it's an or.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a dagger attack. Roll your sneak attack, please.
Oh, excellent. Okay, where's my sneak attack? Come on. There's my sneak attack.
Which at your level is 5d6 for 19 points of stab it damage.
Stabbity.
You stab it a lot. Fortunately, it is resistant to cat damage.
No, it's a shark. It should be vulnerable to cat damage. It's a fish. It's sushi. Worst sushi.
All right. At the end of your turn, it uses a legendary action.
I think that's the end of my... Don't think I have anything else I can do.
You've done your movement, your action, and your bonus action, so yes.
Yep. Okay.
All right. So
Great.
It's going to do a legendary action. It's going to use a tentacle attack on Tex. Does a 28 hit?
Yes, but not by as much as you'd think.
I've seen your stat block. Okay. So that is...
Oh, nice damage.
Yep, that's 21 points of damage. And according to this, you are grappled. There is an escape difficulty, but it's not your turn yet. So,
okay.
All right. So that was the end of Hobby's turn. Now it's the Sharkraken's turn. It's going to start with a bite attack on Tex because Tex is grappled.
Okay.
It's a 26.
That will again hit.
For 24 points of bite damage, otherwise known as Om Nom Nom damage. And for its second attack, it's going to use Fling. Apparently, you do not taste good. So, one large or smaller object held or creature grappled by the Sharkraken is thrown up to 60 feet in a random direction and knocked prone. If a thrown target strikes a solid surface, the target takes 3 or 1d6 bludgeoning damage for every 10 feet it was thrown. If the target is thrown at another creature, that creature must succeed on a DC 18 dexterity saving throw or take the same damage and be knocked prone. So, do me a favor, roll a d8 for me. 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So, you get thrown this way. You hit this tank. I'm going to ask Hobby to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. One moment. Dexterity saving throw. Well, 21
Okay.
hit.
You dodge Tex.
I mean, I'm probably ducking.
That's a dodge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's every 10 feet, so 10, 20, 30. You're going to take... This is not lined up well to do that. I'm just going to say you take the average. Take 9 points of bludgeoning damage. And the tank that you smack into, you feel it crunch behind you.
Okay.
It has broken open. And for its last attack, it is going to do a tentacle attack on Emil.
Oh.
That's a dirty 20.
It rolled a 10.
For 15 points of... Oh?
Are you in range, Tex?
Emil is 35 feet away.
Ah, darn, no, it has to be 30 feet.
1 moment. I'm in range.
Does it swap you?
No.
No, it's an occupied space within 5 feet, but Isili does take the damage.
Okay.
Yes.
And for the record, this is because of the spell that Isli has cast for every single combat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a spell.
Oh.
It's a class ability.
Okay.
Yes.
It's not a bug, it's a feature.
Literally.
Emil is still grappled. However, I have forgotten a thing because it's the Sharkraken's turn.
Damage.
Well, saving throw first, I believe. It makes a saving throw, but is that half damage then?
Yes.
Okay. It is bloodied. It got bloodied on its own turn. It doesn't like that. Okay, but those are its 3 actions. We are back up at the start of initiative. Tex, it is your turn.
Does the fling knock me prone?
You are technically prone. But hold on, let me double check. Because there was definitely if Hobby had missed.
I know if I hit someone, they're prone.
You are also prone. You're thrown up to 60 feet in a random direction and are knocked prone.
Okay.
And you hit the thing you probably bounced off it, crunch, fall to... Yeah.
Yeah. So it does take half your movement to stand.
Just double checking something. Okay. I don't have that ability listed. So I'm going to do something that is rare for characters to do. I'm taking the dash action.
Because even if you can't attack, being right there means it's less likely that an opponent will be attacked.
Right. Boink.
Boink.
Except for Isli, everyone's right back where they started.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, well.
If Hobby moved over 5 feet, then we'd have a symmetrical map, but no.
Yes.
Sorry.
Speaking of being able to attack.
Action surge!
Huh, that's weird. That's really weird. My resources aren't being used the way they should be. Anyway, yeah.
That's a dirty 20. That will hit. That's 27. That will also hit. Its skin was
I'm gonna
not
try this
smooth.
again.
It is now less smooth.
Yeah.
Wisdom saving throw, if I remember correctly.
Yes, wisdom saving throw DC 17.
That is a 23.
Yeah, that was worth a try.
To be fair, it did go after you anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, so why is it saying you have an effect on you? Oh, because it's bloodied. All right, that's 13 points of damage. That's 10 points of damage.
And the next attack by an attacker other than me has advantage.
All right. It is Emil's turn. I'm once again looking at the Shark Kraken for Emil's attacks. They're not there.
No, I wouldn't imagine.
The Shark Kraken takes levels in Paladin and Vampire.
No.
That is a 23 to hit with the claws.
I think that 10 wouldn't have hit, so I'm glad I gave him advantage.
Yeah.
So first we're going to do that damage. 8 points. But also we are going to use a first level spell. A first level
Does
spell
it count as a
slot.
weapon for smiting?
It's late enough that the GM is going to count it as that, even if it's not supposed to. So there.
They're magical claws, hey.
Yes. Also, I've made a horrible mistake. Vampires regenerate hit points at the start of their turn.
Oh,
Yeah. Emil is no longer injured at all.
excellent.
Yes. So, Divine Smite, 2d8. All right, that's 13
nice.
points of damage.
Yay! Team Paladin!
As Emil is doing this, his claws glow with holy energy. And he goes, ow, 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 as he's striking out. Because still vampire.
Paladin. Oh no.
But that's his only attack. It is now Isili's turn. Oh, wait. Yes, it is now Isili's turn. Yes, Emil is a Palapire. Or Vampadin.
Paladin.
I've realized that what you said might have been Tex.
Yes,
And so I
that
wanna-
is in fact what I
Okay.
said.
Yes?
I want you to recover your hit points.
Okay. I'll... My goodness.
You cast heal. Not healing word. Not cure wounds. Heal.
And it does what it says on the tin.
70 hit points are healed.
Because I did the math and Tex is 68 points down.
I love that it's because I have the Shark Kraken targeted. It's giving me the option to press the button and apply 70 points of healing to the Sharkadin. I just said Sharkadin. No, it is not a Shark Paladin.
No.
It is not a Shark Kraken Paladin. That would be hilarious, but no.
I just like that I was 68 points down and still 10 points away from bloodied.
You made your character very well for what they do. Does Isili do anything else?
The spiritual weapon attacks. And I am going to roll somewhat manually, and also I need to look at my actual spell attack bonus. And a d4 is not going to save that. So that was my turn.
Okay. At the end of your turn, we're going to have another lightning storm. Everyone make a DC 23 dexterity saving throw.
And a d4 is also not going to save that 4. That is the second 4 I have rolled on the... Well, that was also a 4.
Yes, that was. Let's see, what can I...
That was another 4! The last 4 dice that have been rolled all came up 4.
4 by 4. And that's 23 points of damage, or half that. So 11, because we round down. If you made the save.
And let's see. I failed on the saving.
So if you click on the apply button for the lightning storm. Well,
but before you do that,
Hmm?
I use protective bond.
On who?
Hobby.
Okay.
Use it on Isili. I've got point. I've still got some points.
Oh yeah, that's actually true. Isili's
Yes, use it on
down lower.
Isili. Yes, use it on Isili. Boom.
So
All right.
yeah, I was going to
Raise your
suggest you
shield.
move to that spot because then you'd be between Isili and the Sharkaday.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
Sharkraken.
Wrong portmanteau.
A Sharkaden would be something else.
Yes.
Probably a Sahu again.
Okay, so I take half damage
A Sahuagin
because of my evasion.
I take double damage
because you take it
So-
twice.
because I take it
Minus-
twice.
Minus 12.
Well, you are made of metal. You are a lightning rod.
Yep.
No. Lightning rods don't work that way.
Yeah.
Lightning rods don't conduct electricity. Lightning rods disperse free electrons and therefore make a target less likely to get struck by lightning.
No, they attract the lightning to themselves, I thought, and
No.
the lightning rods and
No,
make
if
them.
if you scuff your feet across a carpet
Yeah.
towards your mother, I might be speaking from experience here from when I was a small child, intending to zap her because it's a nice dry winter,
Mm-hmm.
and your mother is knitting something, and she taps your extended finger with the side of the knitting needle, all the electrons are dissipated and there is no zap because
There are
pointed
two
piece of
kinds
metal-
of there are two kinds of lightning rods.
and the one that wins is the one you feed. Wait, no,
Yes.
wrong story.
No, one of them does disperse electrons to make it less likely that the building gets struck. One of them has lines running down to the ground so that the lightning runs down the outside of the building.
Inside
Yeah.
Tex are two lightning rods, as evidenced by the fact that Tex took double lightning damage today.
Yes. Anyway,
That is the end of Isili's turn. It is now Hobby's turn.
Hobby is annoyed.
oh no, my pizza.
Hobby uses her bonus action. Do I actually have to make a roll to this? It says I figure roll 1d. Alright, I don't think I have to roll that yet. Closing that. Hobby is casting Hunter's Mark on the Sharkraken. Until the spell ends, I deal an extra 1d6 damage whenever I hit it with a weapon attack. And I have advantage on rolls to find it, and if it drops 0 hit points before the spell ends, I can use a bonus action to mark a new creature. Well,
Emil would
Hopefully
say
that won't-
not it if Emil knew what you were doing.
well, there's the large arrow that starts, bouncing up and down over its head. And
Yes. Matter of fact, there.
you're making the large arrow bounce up.
Well, not
And
yet.
for the
Give me a moment. First of all, it had to be red.
Yes, it has to be red.
Oh.
People around it, so I get to do my sneak attack.
Yep.
Okay.
Provided
Well,
you hit.
first I'm going to do. First, I have to hit.
Yes.
Will 24 hit?
Yes. A 24 will hit a lot.
Good. Okay, so let's just scroll back up here to do. Come on, Lego. Not that one. Come on. Let's do my dagger damage. Well, that's pathetic. A mere 7. Attack damage?
You can roll your sneak
Blended.
attack damage. And I will make sure I apply this to the Sharkraken and not Emil.
Thank you. I'm not hitting Emil. Emil is a friend.
It's
Emil is a
fine.
friend,
Emil-
not food.
Emil can heal. It's fine. I'm not fine. He'll recover fully. I've taken a lot of damage lately. It still hurts.
That is the damage that I am doing because I am out of spells to smite. It's pathetic.
All right. At the end of your turn, there is a tentacle attack. Actually,
Boo.
no. At the end of your turn, there is a fling attack.
I don't want to have a fling with the Sharkraken.
Because Emil didn't take damage from the tentacle attack after
Oh.
Isili used that ability, but Emil is still grappled.
Oh.
So this legendary action involves throwing Emil. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I'm going to have Emil get thrown. I'm not going to draw a box. That is not what I'm doing. Instead, I'm going to have Emil get thrown this way. Thunk. That is 10, 20, 30, 40. We'll say 60 feet. Yes, I know from where he was positioned on the map, it was 75. Thank you for measuring that, Ellie. But I left him there because if I put him on top of the Sharkraken, then it's hard to select one or the other. So that's 1d6 for every 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Roll.
Ow.
Emil takes a fireball's worth of damage.
Oof.
Do I
Which in
have
this
a
case is 18.
reaction back? Oh, what?
Yeah, you got reactions back during your turn.
Okay, I want to take.
He's 60
Where did
feet
Emil
away
go?
from where he got thrown over
Oh.
60 feet away from you. So
Nope.
not the closest person is still too far away to do this because it has to be 30 or less.
Yep.
Okay. So that is the end of Hobby's turn. It is the start of the Kraken's turn. Emil is bloodied right now, but don't worry, he'll get better. Or he'll die. One or the other. One of these things will happen. I am going to scroll up forever to make the DC 17 saving throw. And make the DC 17 saving throw. So that is another 10 points of damage. The Guardian can do 20 more points before it goes away. And now the Kraken gets to do a thing. It's going to start off doing a tentacle attack to Tex. Because, I mean, you're right there. I hope you don't mind.
No.
That is a 24 to hit.
It keeps getting closer to missing.
And that is 14 points, and you are grappled. And it is going to repeat what it was doing before. It's going to attempt to bite you. That's
definitely going to hit.
That's a 29. For 15 points of Om Nom Nom damage. And for its final attack, it is going to do another fling. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to throw you in this direction. And that's not a ruler. Good news. You're not going to hit anyone. Bad news. You're going to take 31 damage from hitting the gauges behind you. You've been thrown almost to the edge of the room. And bad news, I don't think anyone's going to be reading those gauges anytime soon. That is the Kraken's turn. It is now your turn. After the 70 points of healing, Tex has still become bloodied. Have I actually created a balanced encounter for the first time in this campaign?
I am going to get up, and it keeps bugging me that it keeps flinging me without giving me the opportunity to break the grapple.
It might be intelligent enough to know that it shouldn't give you an opportunity to break the grapple.
Yeah, that's fair.
Tex, you need retractable spikes.
I do.
That would make it extremely upset. It would wrap a tentacle around you, and then it would go, ow, 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 ow.
Cicely's not within 5 feet of it, is it? Is she?
Within 5 feet of the Kraken? She's within 10 feet.
Not currently.
Okay.
There is no one within melee range of it. Well, technically, Hobby is, because tattoo.
No,
Hobby wants to be within 15 feet of it, but no closer. Nice. Crit.
Tex cast
and that
Guiding
is a
Bolt.
critical hit on Guiding Bolt.
That's.
I think it's supposed to be the other way around. You have rolled a lot of d6s just now. Okay,
That's 27 radiant damage.
Applied.
Oh, Frotz, I forgot to do another thing on the hit that I did. All right, I'll do it next time, I guess.
And the next attack roll against the target before the end of my next turn has advantage.
Okay. It is now Emil's turn. Emil
Heals.
heals 10 points and is no longer bloody because of it. And Emil moves 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Emil uses an action to move.
I feel bad saying this, but Emil had to get up.
Well, Emil was going to use an action to dash also. So,
okay.
Yes, I did forget, but I'm not undoing that because it was going to be more anyway. So 1, 2, 3. But thank you for reminding me. Emil is not close enough to attack the Kraken, but is close enough to be reached by a tentacle. So there is that.
Hooray.
Yeah. Isili.
That's not what I want
boy.
to do. That's not what I want to do. What the criff? That go away? Yes.
That is 8 degrees outside.
Yikes. Well,
Oh, that's where.
I am going to try to hit with my holy... Not my holy weapon, my spiritual weapon.
Okay. A 17 by itself will not hit. A
There's a
19 will hit.
Aha!
I was about to say, don't forget you have advantage.
Oh, no. Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah, I will
because Emil didn't get to
I will
go.
roll to see if there is a crit. That is not a net
Alas.
20.
These extra D4s that people get to roll for things are going to really spoil all of you for when Isley isn't around.
Yeah.
Except I keep forgetting to
what's
use
my
them.
wisdom? My wisdom is 20. And I'm going to do 12 points of force damage.
All right. Applied. Anything else? Because that was your spiritual weapon, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you still have an action to go.
Did the Guardian of Faith run out?
It still has 20 points it can do.
Okay. In that case, Toll the Dead.
Oh! Let's
All
see
right.
how wise it is.
It's fairly wise.
Ugh.
That's a dirty 20. Valiant attempt. If it had failed, you might have killed it.
Yeah.
All right. Hobby.
Okay. I have a question about the map. In particular, I have a question about those things up to my upper left there.
They are those things that look like canisters with a pressure gauge on top of them.
Uh-huh.
They are just tall enough that if you were to go over them, I would argue that it's difficult terrain. But
They are, however, a hamster cage.
No, I don't want to go over them. What I want to do is get into such a situation. I was trying to figure out if I could use them as cover.
I would say partial cover.
Or when it tries to grab me with its tentacles.
I would argue that they would provide partial cover.
Can I get into that partial cover and still be within 15 feet of it?
Yes. If you're here,
I can.
your line of sight to it is such that would be considered partial cover. If you want to put more of it between you and it, then you wouldn't be within 15 feet anymore.
I want to be within 15 feet because that is where I can still keep hitting it.
Yes. That was my assumption. That's why I moved you to there.
Thank you. Perfect.
You mean
Okay, I will do that.
perfect.
Perfect. I will do that, and I believe that if necessary, that's not moving me into attack of opportunity type stuff, right?
Oh, no, you have never been outside of its range.
Great. Wonderful. It's just been ignoring me. I hate it. Okay. Gonna hit it with the dagger. Gonna attack.
It was going for the
Uh-huh.
closest opponents. So it wasn't ignoring you. It was just, well, I haven't gotten to that part of the buffet yet. And a 22 will hit.
Okay. I will do the damage for the dagger, I assume. I clicked that. Damage. Normal. Today in Fighting with Foundry, I've clicked it twice and it wasn't do anything.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything show up.
Let me try that one more time.
There we go.
That's Ellie.
Oh.
Okay,
Also,
how
that was
much
a
damage?
D12.
How much does a dagger do anyway? Hit. Let me do my damage.
Inventory dagger +1.
I think it's 1d4 plus 1.
Yeah.
Plus 1d6.
Yeah. Well, yours is 1d4 plus 6 because of your bonus.
Right. Plus 1d6.
Details. Okay, so I roll a 1d4 and a 1d6. Yes, 1d6 because of the hunters.
And
The
plus
tattoo.
6 because of your bonuses.
Somebody tell me how much I'm rolling flat because of this. 1d6 plus
/R
1d4.
space 1d4 plus 1d6 plus 6.
Okay, plus 6. There's my plus. There's my plus 6.
The -2 is from me pressing buttons. Don't worry about that.
Okay, so
You rolled 11 points of damage.
all right, so that's my
To be 100% clear, you're also rolling an additional 1d6.
because of the hunter's mark.
No, because
No,
of
no.
the Eldritch Claw tattoo.
Well, Yeah, that's in there. Hobby rolled 1d6 plus 1d4 plus 6.
I also get another 1d6 because of the hunter's mark that's on it.
Alas, it is also not currently engaged with any opponents, so because it threw everyone. So you
And I
get
haven't
sneak
marked
attack.
it. No sneak attack this time. A mere 17 damage.
Alas.
Alas.
Okay. At the end of your turn,
It legendaries.
yes.
Hopefully it'll decide that I'm more annoying. Oh,
Lightning
goody,
storm,
more
everyone.
lightning. It's the time for the lightning round. Everyone who plays Stowe knows this one. Dexterity.
Because the DM forgot to do a legendary after Isali's turn.
What's the thing I gotta beat on it? I don't think I beat
23.
it.
You did not
Yeah,
beat it.
no. Okay, half damage
And-
because of my feline agility.
That was a max roll or two. Oh, there were 2 10s in there. So, 28 points of lightning damage.
Which for me becomes 14.
Emil's bloodied again. He's almost gotten to the shark kraken and just goes, dang it!
I am also blooded.
All right. That was the end of Hobby's turn. At the start of the shark kraken's turn, I am not going to roll anything.
Actually, I get bonus.
If it succeeds its saving throw versus the Guardian, it takes lethal damage.
Go, Guardian.
Isali, how does the shark kraken die?
The guardian, hovering above it, brings a hammer down onto its head. You could say it's now a hammerhead shark kraken.
It does this, and there is a satisfying crunching sound. And the Guardian continues to stand there because it still has not done 60 points of damage. It's got 10 more it can do, but no targets are in sight. Emil is very strongly saying not it. Not actually, but still. The shark kraken begins to bubble and boil and melt into the what's left of the ruined grating that it was half climbed out of and pour down below where you can see. And you're left alone in this ruined laboratory where everything has a sort of glow to it, including all of you.
I'm worried about the glow. Hobby would like to spritz herself with the anti-nanites.
You do that, and nothing happens, other than now you are wet.
Thanks, she hates it.
That's where we're going to end it
X.
for tonight.
Tex has an experimental caution tape dispenser from the Ogmanites, and she's going to put caution tape around the hole where the grate was.
I know you spent inspiration, but if I didn't give it to you since you spent it, you have it again. But that is where we're going to end it for tonight. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you everyone for playing. We went a little over time, and by a little
Just a
over
little.
time, by an hour. But I confess I really wanted to end this fight tonight.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought you were going to end this. I thought you were going to end the session when the fight started.
Well, yeah, I probably should have, but I apologize. Hopefully you had fun.
I'm okay.
Well,
Yes, I enjoyed this.
so speaking of fun, who wants to plug a thing?
Eo's mom writes books at elizabethmccoy.com. They're ebooks. Ask your library to pick them up. Then your library gets them for cheap, and I get paid, and you can read them for free. It's wonderful. And are we speaking of books, or are we just speaking of wonderful things?
Well, we can speak of books because Jen, who is usually here, writes at bookofjen.net, also podcasts for stuff about Diablo 4 right now. The Diablo franchise, also possibly things about Blizzard Activision, because Blizzard Activision owning Diablo 4, at shatteredsoulstone.com. And speaking of websites, we put all these podcasts over at aaronbsmith.com/cogwheel. You can follow us on the Fediverse at is.aaronbsmith.com/@cogwheel. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/cogwheelgaming. You can join other illustrious patrons, including Ellie, Shan, Walter, Liv Droman, and Patron Emeritus Cindy. Until next time, this is Crash saying, so that's what happens. Well, another successful experiment. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Oh, Griff, do we have God energy on us?